So, hello and welcome sa isang panibagong episode ng History by Bike. At nandito lang muna tayo ngayon sa Casa Fortes. At hindi muna tayo lalabas para gumawa ng isang biking video. Pero, ang gagawin natin ngayon for yung topic of discussion natin ay isa sa mga pinaka-paborito kong subjects pagdating sa World War II history ng bansa natin. At ito yung pagdating ng mga super battleships ng Imperial Japanese Navy na IJN Yamato at ang IJN Musashi. So, ito yung scale model ko ng Musashi, I think. So, dumating dito sa bansa natin itong mga super battleships na to nung bumalik na si General MacArthur dito sa bansa natin. So, yung Leyte landings noong October of 1944. At dahil doon, inactivate ng Imperial Japanese Navy ang kanilang fleet para sirain, well, yun yung plano, sirain yung landings na magaganap dun sa Leyte. Kaya nagpunta dito ang Imperial Japanese Navy battleship Yamato and Musashi, dalawa sila, at dumaan sila dito sa bansa natin para harapin ang mga Amerikano sa Leyte. So, yun yung magiging episode natin ngayon. So, samahan nyo ako at yun yung magiging topic natin. In 22 to the 25th October 1944, Yamato was part of Takeo Kurita's Center Force, and at least she took part in her first serious naval engagement of the war, the cataclysmic Battle of Leyte Gulf. Operation Shogo directed this main force to rally to the island of Leyte to destroy the US landings there. On the 18th of October, IJN Yamato was painted in a black camouflage for her nighttime transit through the San Bernardino Strait, made of soot from smokestack painted on her flank with some oil. En route to Leyte, the fleet was ambushed in the Palawan Passage on the 23rd of October by the submarines USS Darter and Dace. They sank Atago, Kurita's flagship, and damaged another cruiser, while Kurita survived and transferred his flag to Yamato. Soon, she would be taking part in the Battle of the Sibuyan Sea. It happened the following day for the Center Force. It fell on a prepared Task Force 38 this October 24th, 1944, by Admiral Halsey. Task Force 38's aircraft attacked this raiding force right away as it was spotted in the Sibuyan and Sulu seas. The first strike force lost 3 more heavy cruisers, which took away a large chunk of the anti-aircraft defense, and during this long day of fury, United States naval carrier aircraft sortied 259 times, notably those from USS Essex, which claimed a hit on Yamato with 2 armor-piercing bombs, and a near miss. Yamato, however, only suffered moderate damage, but took 3,370 tons of seawater. She went on soldiering until night fell. Her sister ship Musashi was not so lucky. Like a magnet, she drawn the attention of attackers and was hit with 17 bombs and 19 torpedoes, while the battleships Nagato, Fuso, and Yamashiro were badly damaged as well as numerous destroyers. The Battle of Leyte Gulf. Captain Toshihiro Inoguchi took command of Musashi on the 12th of August 1944. Musashi sailed for Brunei Bay in Borneo, joining the rest of the fleet, prepared for Operation Show 1, aimed at the American landings at Leyte. On the 24th of October, while she was on the Sibuyan Sea, Kurita's fleet was spotted by a reconnaissance aircraft from USS Intrepid. 2 hours later, at 10:27, 8 Curtiss SB-2C Helldiver dive bombers fell on the Musashi. She was struck by a single 500-pound bomb just on the roof of turret number 1, which resisted the impact. This tells volumes about the level of the protection of the ship. 2 minutes later, however, IJN Musashi was hit at starboard, amidship, by a torpedo and took 3,000 long tons of seawater. A 5.5-degree list compensated by counterflooding. She also claimed 2 Avengers shot down. But around 11:50, 8 Helldivers from the USS Intrepid hit her upper deck, and failing to detonate on the port side of the deck, penetrating 2 decks and exploding above 1 engine room. Shrapnels destroyed 1 steam pipe and 2 boiler rooms were shut. Power was lost for the port inboard propeller shaft. Speed fell to 22 knots while the crews claimed 2 Helldivers. Close to 12 p.m., 9 Avengers attacked from both sides and hit her with 3 torpedoes on her port side. The hydraulic machinery room failed and main turrets switched for auxiliary hydraulic pumps and flooded yet another engine room, compensated by more counter-flooding. Musashi fired her Sanshikidan AA shells, but apparently one of these shells detonated in the middle gun chamber of turret number 1, disabling the elevation mechanism. Her ordeal was not over yet. At 13:31, Musashi faced a wave of 29 aircraft from Essex and Lexington. 2 Hellcat fighters strafed her deck while Helldivers took positions, plunged and hit 4 times near her forward turrets. Meanwhile, Avengers launched 4 more torpedoes which hit forward of turret number 1. Although Musashi was listing 1 degree to starboard only, her freeboard was practically at water level, her bow emerging about 13 feet above the waves. Speed was still 20 knots, amazingly, but her fate was sealed. For 2 hours, new waves appeared. First, 9 Helldivers from USS Enterprise using 450-kilogram armor-piercing bombs. 4 hit the ship, as well as 3 more torpedoes. Her starboard bow was ripped apart, leaving more seawater to pour in this time faster, and her speed fell to 30 knots. At 15:25, she faced another wave of 37 aircraft from USS Intrepid, fully refueled and rearmed. USS Franklin and USS Cabot also joined the fray and launched their air groups. Musashi was hit by no less than 13 bombs and 11 more torpedoes, her crew claiming 3 Avengers and 3 Helldivers. By then, she was almost submerged to the deck level at 6 knots, with her main steering knocked out and her rudder jammed 15 degrees to port, and any ideas of counter-flooding to reduce her list to 6 degrees appeared superfluous by now. There was little hope she can make it anywhere, as she had been struck by an estimated 19 torpedoes and 17 bombs. Admiral Kurita left the crippled ship at 15:30. As her rudder was repaired, Musashi limped northwards, still listing 10 degrees to port, her bow underwater, and forecastle splashed high up by incoming waves. She was now practically a submarine. She was escorted by a cruiser and 2 destroyers, while the safety teams worked around the clock with pumps to try a new counter-flooding, but eventually her remaining engines stopped far from any beach. At 19:15, she listed 12 degrees and the order came to prepare to abandon ship, which took place 15 minutes later. IJN Musashi capsized at 19:36, but contrary to her sister ship, she sank deep at 4,430 feet on a precise location, with Captain Inoguchi going down with her. She had more survivors than Yamato, 1,376 of her 2,399 strong crew. To mask the loss to the public back in Japan, half of these survivors were thrown in the defense of the Philippines. Microsoft co-founder Paul Allen found the wreck of the Musashi after 8 years of searching, announcing it on March 2015. She sunk in one piece but exploded underwater. A movie was made of the expedition. Due to her status as a war grave, the National Museum of the Philippines eventually secured the wreckage's integrity by law as an archaeological site. Okay, so nagkaroon na ng engagement dun sa Sibuyan Sea, at ang ginawang tactic ni Admiral Kurita is nung kinagabihan, nag-retreat siya pabalik kung saan sila nanggaling, lumusot dun sa Sibuyan Sea. Pero nagbago din yung isip niya at sinubukan pa rin nilang tumuloy sa San Bernardino Strait. So hindi na nakatawid ng San Bernardino Strait ang battleship Musashi kasi dumugong na siya mga past 7 o'clock sa Sibuyan Sea. So ang nakatawid na lang doon ay yung battleship Yamato at yung kasama niyang mga iba pang warships. So gabi yon nang dumaan sila sa San Bernardino Strait at lumabas sila sa Off Samar ng madaling araw at doon na naganap yung Battle of Samar. The Battle of Samar. Information was key in this pre-satellite era. Indeed, the main American battle group of Admiral William Halsey departed the Leyte Gulf area on the 24th of October, convinced that Kurita's center force has been effectively knocked out, and sailed his Task Force 38 away in hot pursuit of the bait Japanese Northern Force, a deception which was a success, as it drew Halsey's 5 fleet carriers, 5 light carriers, escorted by 6 fast battleships and 8 cruisers plus 40 destroyers to harm the Japanese. Kurita's night navigation in the San Bernardino Strait was nothing short of a triumph of seamanship, and when he exited shortly after dawn off Samar, he was ready to prey on the main objective as intended, the United States Navy amphibious force. Taffy 3 was a small carrier group centered around 6 escort carriers, slow and small, their planes already busy covering advancing troops. Their only escort was 3 destroyers and 4 destroyer escorts. It is not even sure if the destroyers spotted the approaching fleet by radar. They were surprised by Yamato's first volleys at very long range. She was for the first time able to hit several American ships present, hitting in particular the escort carrier USS Gambier Bay. She was close to do the coup de grace when her spotters saw a spread of torpedoes heading for her. She violently steered away to avoid them and could not return to the battle for a time. In this battle, United States Navy destroyers made a series of daring attacks. They were supported by FM-2 Wildcats and TBM Avengers from Taffy 3's escort carriers. Their ferocious defense astonished Kurita, which believed he was meeting a full American task force, compounded by a mistaken report reporting 6 fleet carriers and 3 cruisers plus 2 destroyers. Kurita decided to disengage and withdraw his task force. Yamato's only fear was 3 near misses which caused 17 casualties from strafing attacks and later carrier strikes during the retreat, making 21 more casualties. The Japanese would lose that day 3 more heavy cruisers and a light cruiser, claiming a single American escort carrier, 2 destroyers, and a destroyer escort. Taffy 3 and the landing force was left largely unscathed, and afterwards, a second escort carrier was sunk by a kamikaze attack. Yamato escorted Kurita's force back to Brunei to refuel. On the 15th of November 1944, the 1st Battleship Division was disbanded. IJN Yamato became the flagship of the 2nd Fleet, and on the 21st of October was underway in the East China Sea in order to reach Kure. The battle group was ambushed by USS Sea Lion. Congo and the destroyer Urakase was torpedoed and sank. Yamato was sent in dry dock for maintenance and repairs, and her AA battery upgraded and extended for the last time. On the 25th of November, Captain Aruga Kosaku took command.
A 94-year-old Japanese man is certain this wreckage at the bottom of the sea is from the ship he was aboard 71 years ago when it was attacked and sunk by US forces. Shigeru Nakajima on Friday watched a live streaming video tour of Japanese battleship Musashi. Nakajima survived the torpedo attack by jumping into the water when a senior officer ordered him to abandon ship. It looks like this is showing the bottom part of the ship, he explains. I'm certain this is the Musashi by looking at the images such as the anchor, the Imperial seal of the chrysanthemum and the catapult for flying the aircraft, which was in the images released earlier. 2,400 crew members lost their lives in one of the largest naval battles in world history, the Battle of Leyte. The captain and those who went down with Musashi must be delighted to hear this news of discovery in heaven. I shall say so for the rest of the survivors. Historians believe the level of damage suggests the battleship broke apart underwater, caused by an explosion inside the ship as it was sinking. Nakajima said he had no words apart from thank you for the team that found the wreckage.
So sana nagustuhan nyo yung topic natin ngayon, which is about sa battleships ng Imperial Japanese Navy, yung kanilang pinakamalaking mga battleships nung panahon na yon na nag-participate sa Battle of Leyte Gulf. So hanggang dito na lang natin tatapusin yung episode natin for History by Bike. So huwag kalimutang mag-like, mag-share at mag-subscribe sa aking YouTube channel. And this is History by Bike, signing off from Casa Fortes. And thank you very much.